Hey Majors, this is our final week talking about identity in the context of Gideon's story as found in Judges chapters 6 through 8. Last week we finally saw Gideon lead an army and defeat the Midianites who had been oppressing Israel. This week we're going to look at all of Gideon's story so far. Gideon had been a coward, likely an idolater, until God called him to more. God called him to follow and gave Gideon a new identity. Gideon gave up his family's idols and started worshiping God. Then Gideon called an army and obeyed God when God told him to parse that same army down smaller and smaller from 32,000 men to 300 men. After Gideon had defeated his enemies, the people asked to make him king, and he declined. We see in Judges chapter 8 verse 23 that Gideon responds by saying, "I will not rule over you, and my son will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you." Gideon makes some missteps later on, but we see here a clear recognition that he is not the one meant to be in charge. God is. And what we see each step of the way in Gideon's story is that Gideon shows tremendous faith, but we also see God calling someone to greatness out of fear. And that's what I want to focus on. You were created by God on purpose and for a purpose, and He's calling you to more than you think you are capable of, just like He did for Gideon. The catch is that along the way, don't lose sight of who the hero is. You aren't the hero, I'm not the hero, Gideon wasn't the hero, God is. Gideon might have been heroic, and we are being called to great and heroic things, but ultimately God is the one who gives us that calling. Understanding my identity means understanding that I am not my own source of significance, God is. What He says about me determines my worth, so I can walk in freedom and I can do great things because I'm called by God, not because of what I have taught myself to do, not because of what I've empowered myself to do, but because of what God has empowered me to do. So remember this week, Majors, and remember as you're going forth and doing the great things God has called you to, that God is the hero of the story. God is the one who calls us, and God is the one who empowers us to do the things that we need to do. Thanks for joining me for this Manna U moment, Majors. I'll see you next time.